Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is actually going to be a response to Tammy's I Love Music tag video she put up a day or two ago. There was just kind of 9 questions that she asked and kind of answered herself, and then just kind of asked, if we wanted to jump on board and give our responses. So, yeah, definitely jump on board. 9 kind of really good to the point questions, which I like. And so let me kind of just jump right into it. Question number 1 was kind of name your favorite band or musician of the moment. I guess kind of what you're really digging right now more so than whatever else. For the most part, bands don't tend to fade as much with me. Like once I'm jamming to it, I'm always jamming to it. But the newest thing that's kind of come on my radar screen would have to be Exodus. I've really kind of taken a focus back to my metal collection over the past month or so, mainly because I'm building up a lot of my CD collection there in terms of complete artists, studio albums and so forth. And so this Exodus album is just one that I didn't really know that well or pay that much attention to, and after spinning it the other day, as I mentioned, I bought it on CD, and while I was halfway through listening to the CD, I got online and ordered the vinyl. And so this album right here is really kind of like, taking me back right now. I mean, this is just some awesome stuff. So I would have to say that Exodus is probably the one band, mainly that album, but just in general, that I'm really, really kind of digging in the moment right now. Question number 2. Name one, one band that you come back to or music you come back to. I kind of took that as in, no matter which directions you go listening to things, this is just kind of one that you can't stop spinning or listening to and that type of thing. And actually, I can narrow that question down to about 5 songs from this one artist. And the artist that I would choose for that would be Bruce Springsteen. No matter what direction I'm going, if I'm, going through my jazz phase, my metal phase, my whatever, somehow Bruce always tends to find his way back into my, CD player in my bathroom or something like that. Like somehow he's being spun in some way, shape, or form. And it's almost always the songs, there's like 5 of them. Tunnel of Love, actually I should say a little more, maybe 6. Tunnel of Love, Brilliant Disguise, and One Step Up. But mainly Tunnel of Love and Brilliant Disguise. Those 2, forever being spun. I'm on Fire, forever being spun. And then actually probably 2 more I would throw on there. My Beautiful Reward. And last but not least, Human Touch. Those songs, I don't know how many was that, 6? Those songs are just constantly in any type of rotation that I may have going any point in time, no matter what I'm digging or really into at the time. So I guess in general, Bruce Springsteen is the artist, but really you can narrow it down to those 5 or 6 songs. Always come back to those no matter what. That's always my go-to music. Let's see. Favorite movie soundtrack. That was really hard because you guys know I'm a huge 80s fan. By the way, playing in the background, in case you don't know, Velvet Underground, White Light, White Heat. So that's what's playing in the background. But again, you guys know that I'm a huge 80s fan. Most of you that kind of know me. And so when it comes to the 80s, one of the things that I love more than anything in the 80s are the soundtracks. So, Some Kind of Wonderful, Better Off Dead, both the Breaking soundtracks. You can go on and on. Pretty in Pink. What else? Author. Even stuff like Annie, and just like all the stuff from the 80s. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So to leave off stuff like Better Off Dead and Some Kind of Wonderful was very tough with this question, but I was able to narrow it down to 2. And my 2 favorite soundtracks right now would have to be number 1, Teen Wolf. Fabulous soundtrack. Never gets old, never get tired of that. And the second one I kind of have to put in there as well is Conan the Barbarian. Another soundtrack that I love and never gets old. But again, I'm leaving off stuff like, Revenge of the Nerds and Streets of Fire, and just soundtracks I really, really love. But I said I had to narrow it down somehow, so those are the two that I come down to. Ask me in an hour, and I'm sure I'll pick 2 different soundtracks. But moving right along. Oops, dropped my questions there. Next question was favorite songs of all time. Again, that's almost an impossible question to answer, but I thought one way to at least address it, I can tell you what I think is 2 of the best recordings of all time. And that might be a way to get towards the favorite something, because just favorite songs, there's no way I can lay that out. But they're actually both by this man right here, Mr. Sam Cooke. And Bring It On Home and Change Is Gonna Come, in my opinion, are 2 of the best recordings of any music ever laid down on any type of playback device ever. Those songs are just perfection. And so, if I have to kind of label some type of a favorite song, that's the route I have to go, is by going with my favorite recordings. So it has to be those 2 by Sam Cooke. That's saying a lot to be able to say that. But anyway, moving right along. Most embarrassing song on my iTunes. And I guess it depends on what you mean by embarrassing. Going off of Tammy's response, it sounds like she was saying embarrassing more so from the standpoint about maybe the lyrics, subject matter, that type of thing, and not so much like the Wayne Newton that I have on my, not like cheesy embarrassing. So I'm going by lyrics and that type of thing. I would say probably the most embarrassing thing would probably have to be Ruby Breastnut. That's the name of the artist, and the song is "Come on Me" is the name of the song. And title kind of says it all, but the name of the album is called Porn Flush. So you start putting all that stuff together, and it's as raunchy as a song ever. It's not like gangster rap. Well, actually, it kind of is, but more so, it's almost like audio porn is what it boils down to. So I would probably say that's probably the raunchiest, not raunchiest, but the most embarrassing type of song on my iTunes. It has a cool beat to it though, but it's just strange. But anyway, go check it out if you want to, get an idea about what that song's about. But it's pretty out there. Top 3 songs played on my iTunes. Well, I tell you what, let me go over here to my iTunes. Since I didn't really look this up, let me go into songs. I'll lay it out there, so we'll do most played. Okay, so we have quite a number of them that are tied here, but let's see. Looks like my top 3, which have been played 3 times, or played 16 times since this reset. Never Been Any Reason by Head East. That's one of my most played songs on my iTunes. What else? Oh, Madness by Muse. That's number 2. And number 3 is Only You by Yaz. So those are my 3 most played songs in my iTunes. And then at a close 4th is Popcorn by Bad Brains. So that's a nice little mixture of stuff going on there. Little classic kind of rock, more, 90s, 2000 Muse, Only You, 80s, and then Popcorn, kind of punk, hardcore Bad Brains. So nice little mixture there. So, question number 7. Favorite concert I've ever attended. I've attended some pretty good, darn good concerts, let's just put it that way. I would say runner-up was the very first time I saw Godsmack, which was a Shinedown, Rob Zombie and Godsmack. Blew me away. But I would have to say the best concert I've ever seen was the one I saw just a few months ago, which was Motley Crue and Kiss. As of this point, I don't think there's much that's going to top, seeing Kickstart My Heart Live, followed up by You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best, and Detroit Rock City. I mean, I just that is just still the concert moment of all concert moments for me. And I've seen some pretty good bands, but yeah, that have to be my number one. Can't wait for Rob in Boston to answer that question, because his freaking concert repertoire is just. I'm not going to talk about the people he's seen. It's incredible. But moving right along, that's my next question here. I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, most underrated musician. I kind of came up with two. And one, I don't know if he's necessarily underrated, because I think within his genre and what he does, he's a fairly solid name. But I'm thinking kind of more so of in the VC and kind of overall what I would consider to be not quite getting the credit that he deserves. But kind of runner-up would have to be Rick Braun. And you guys have heard me talk about him a number of times. Again, there's not a lot of talk in the VC about smooth jazz. And Rick Braun on that trumpet, man, that boy can blow. Oh my goodness, I never get tired of listening to him. Matter of fact, this should also be on my go-to list. That boy right there can blow. That's all I gotta say. When it comes to actually listening to a trumpet player, I mean, and I'm not saying he's necessarily on the same level, but my enjoyment of him musically is on the same level as Miles Davis when it comes to just a trumpet player that just goes to special places with me. Then most people probably listen to this and think elevator music, I'm sure. But, man, Rick, my favorite song off this album is One Love. The boy can blow, and I would love to see him in concert. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, my goodness. So I'd have to give him the runner-up. And overall, I would have to say this is probably one of the most underrated musicians, too, which is George Jackson. And mainly not underrated because like people didn't give him a chance. But this right here is called the Fame Recordings Volume 1. There's also a Volume 2, which I don't have yet. Would love to get my hands on that too. But from my understanding was he was like a producer or writer or something like that at Fame Records, and basically stayed behind the scenes all the time, you know, writing, producing, blah, blah, blah. And then somewhere along the line, he stepped out in front of the mic and, you know, laid down a few songs, and they kind of got shelved and just never was put out, so to speak. And so, you know, kind of underrated because people really didn't get a chance to know about him because, you know, stuff wasn't released. But then they came across these recordings and, you know, released them and everything else. And then you listen to songs like Search Your Heart by him, and you just have to sit there and wonder, how could anyone in their right mind listen to that and not immediately take it and have it pressed and just distribute it as many places they possibly could? Because one of the most solid 60s to 70s R&B songs ever, just Search Your Heart, not to mention the rest of the album. So again, I would have to kind of put him as my underrated artist for all those reasons I just described. So make sure you check that out if you have not heard that. Search Your Heart, George Jackson. Great stuff. And last but not least, question number 9, favorite quote or song lyric. I have a bunch of those too. Number of those by Seal, number 1. He has a bunch of them. A couple by Steve Perry and a few others. I actually made this list in my computer that I've kept for years about some of my favorite lyrics and that type of thing. So that's why some are just automatically coming to mind. But I would have to say my top 2 as far as song lyrics. I picked these because these are 2 that I was in the process, still am in the process of figuring out how to get added to some tattoos that I have. So I think if you're willing to tattoo the lyric on your body, then it's probably at the top of your list. And one is off of this album. And it's the lyric off of Some Kind of Monster. And it's what am I thinking? I'm going totally brain dead, and I'm starting to mix up the other lyric with this one. And it's the lyric, my lifestyle determines my death style. I love that. It's and again, that's my lifestyle determines my death style. And actually, that's off Frantic, not Some Kind of Monster. I'm sorry, off the song Frantic. And to me, it's just such a powerful lyric because it's one thing to make a lyric about, you know, how you felt in the context of love, or how you felt in the context of family, or how you felt in the context of when you were hurt and those type of things. But I think it's much, much, much more challenging to make a lyric of one line that can really encompass every aspect of everyone's life, every human being that's ever walked the face of the earth. I think that's a little more challenging to do. So when I hear a lyric that does that, such as my lifestyle determines my death style, it really just kind of captures me, because that's what I get from that lyric is my lifestyle, the way I live, the way I choose to love, the way I choose to treat people, the way I choose to forgive, the way I choose not to forgive. All the decisions that I make, everything that revolves around my lifestyle determines my death style, how I'm remembered when I'm gone, you know, the legacy that I leave, the impact that I have on people, good or bad. I mean, to me, that's like the death style. So everything I do in my lifestyle determines what happens in my death style. And so, and I don't know if they meant it that way or in any way, shape, or form, but that's kind of how I take it and why it's such a powerful thing. So definitely one of my favorite lyrics right there. And the next one, really kind of on the exact same lines. Funny how the Godsmack stuff keeps popping up all the time, but it's off of this album here, which is Godsmack's self-titled debut release. And it's the lyric, "My pain is caused by my pleasure." And again, it's just, oh my goodness, I think it's off of Moon Baby. But my pain is caused by my pleasure. The exact same thing. My pain, a lot of the struggles and things that we deal with in life, whether it's hurt from relationships or, you know, physical pain that comes about, just all these different things, a lot of times it's connected to the things we are doing in life to seek out pleasure. You know, seeking out relationships to be closer and feel love. Well, that sometimes can lead to hurt, you know, pain that comes across. Being in relationships and having negative things happen, or being in those tough times that can be stressful, causing pain in your life. My pain is caused by my pleasure. I don't know. You're a adrenaline junkie. You like, you know, going off and doing different type of things. Well, you may get hurt sometime. My pain is caused by my pleasure. I love food. I love eating food. It makes me feel good. I like smoking, you know, the nicotine. It makes me feel this way. I like drinking, you know, getting buzzed and having fun with my friends and everything else. Okay, well, now I'm dealing with heart disease, or now I'm dealing with DUIs, or now I'm dealing with, you know, lung cancer, or now I'm dealing with obesity, and, you know, I can't be as active with my kids because I'm too overweight and can't keep up. Again, my pain is caused by my pleasure. It's kind of that same principle. So that's another one of those impactful type of lyrics where in one sentence I think you've managed to capture just about every single human being that's walked the face of this earth. So anyway, blah blah blah. There you go, Tammy. Again, great thread as always, great music tag, and let me know what you guys think as always, and we will talk to you soon, VC. All right, take care, guys.